Tonight with Jamie Bowl starts now.
Man, the trailer was on fire inside of a parking deck.
The normal hum of morning pierced in South Park.
It looked like a big bonfire. I mean, it was just fire everywhere.
Sirens signaling a rush of firefighters and other first responders. 5 alarms pulled as flames soared and surrounded a man in his crane.
He's stuck on the platform trying to get out.
Firefighters got him and more than a dozen construction workers to safety, but 2 are still missing tonight.
According to the construction foreman, there are 2 construction workers that are unaccounted for.
The pictures, the stories, the latest on a day many won't soon forget. WBTV has been on your side, breaking into regular programming since this massive fire at South Park started. And tonight, we're going to hit every angle of what we know so far and what the next couple of days could look like. Good evening and welcome to On Your Side tonight. I'm Jamie Bowl. It is always great to have you here with us. Also here alongside, we have meteorologist Rachel Coulter and Eric Garlick. They're monitoring along with the weather, the traffic conditions, also the air quality in South Charlotte. But we're going to start with Siobhan Bryant. She's going to get us caught up on everything that has happened so far today.
It's been a busy day, Jamie. Here's what we know. The fire first started around 9 this morning on Liberty Road Drive near South Park Mall. We've mapped it out for you here. Now, less than an hour later, it was declared a 5-alarm fire, meaning it's a significantly larger fire that requires more hands on deck to get it under control. 90 firefighters swarmed to this scene today. That's when plumes of black smoke like this started to fill the sky. You could see it for miles. 15 people were rescued. Emergency crews are still looking for 2 missing construction workers tonight. Charlotte Fire says the flames were so big and so fast moving, they even had to rescue some of their own.
We had several maydays. That means a mayday is when crews get trapped or have access issues of escaping due to the fast-moving fire. And a mayday is required when we have to send other firefighters to rescue those companies, and we had 2 of those.
Charlotte fire crews also say they've been working to control hot spots from the fire due to traveling embers. Now, Charlotte Fire says if you have a family member who was working at this construction site and you've been unable to locate them, call the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. There's also a reunification site outside the police Sky Tower near Nordstrom's on Sharon Road. Jamie.
Siobhan, thank you. Those firefighters just heroes today. WBTV's Nikki Hauser is live now. She's in South Charlotte tonight. Nikki, I know you heard from some witnesses who saw those flames firsthand.
Right, Jamie. Many said that they saw those flames leaping up above these buildings, smoke billowing hundreds of feet into the air. And even hours later, you can see over here, several fire trucks still in the area, cop cars, emergency personnel continuing to work on this. And even standing here right now, you can feel, see, and smell the tinge of fire still in the air. Now, I want to introduce you to someone we talked to today, Julia Zaremski, who lives at the Barclay Independent Living. This was just a building away from where the fire broke out. She remembers the entire community being evacuated this morning, including her and her dog Molly. Not only was she worried about the flames being so close to where they live, but also about the assisted living center just across the way, where many people have respiratory issues, she says, and shouldn't breathe in the smoke that's lingered after the fire.
It was just a wall of fire as I came out the door with the dog, and then, like I said, it was right there, and it was just as far as you could see. Your eyes were filled with fire. Yeah. It was very intense, and it was, the smoke is awful.
Now, Jamie, we talked to so many other people who have their own different stories following this fire. People who had serious damage to their cars, people who evacuated their hotel during that time, and also people who came here because they were worried about their parents who were living at an assisted living center like that. So we'll have much more on those stories coming up at 11 o'clock, Jamie.
There are so many concerns that this fire could spread to other buildings. Might that crane collapse? Thankfully, none of those things happened today, but a scary scene for sure. Nikki, thank you. You helped tell us the story today. Many WBTV viewers like you at home sent us the photos and the videos from your vantage point near the scene of this fire. WBTV's Cam Gaskins joins us now live in South Park. And Cam, some of the video we've seen today will just leave you speechless.
That's exactly right, Jamie. You kind of touched on it a second ago. The videos show us just how fortunate some of these other buildings are that the fire did not spread any further, because we saw how quickly and how big that fire spread, and it very easily could have done even more damage than it already did today. So we're going to show you some of the videos that have come into our newsroom today. This first one here was sent to us by Jack Sealis, and it shows the exact moment that the building collapsed after the flames destroyed the structure of the building. And you see the constant stream of water from the fire department. Again, first responders really ensuring that the debris and fallout from the collapse was as contained as it could be. And then this next video comes to us from Brett Lipman and his drone, and in this clip you see an aerial view of just how big these flames really got in relation to the other buildings around the construction site, just giving you a different vantage point of it all and how big and quickly those flames spread. And then this final video from Sharita Hall shows us a different angle of the closest structure to the fire, and that is a parking garage that was just a few feet away from the flames, presumably damaging several of the cars here, as you see the fire reaching all the way across the little gap to the parking deck. Hall told us that she was not parked on that side of the garage, but does not know the extent of the damage her car may have suffered. And she also told us that anyone who parked their car in that deck will not be able to go back inside to see how badly their cars were burned for at least 48 hours, as crews are still trying to make sure that the building is structurally sound for people to return to. Reporting live in South Park, I'm Cam Gaskins, WBTV, on your side.
Yeah, that fire reaching 2,000 degrees, so yeah, they obviously need to make sure the structure is sound before anyone goes back in. Cam Gaskins live, thank you. We do know one construction worker was stuck on top of a crane this morning. WBTV's Caroline Hicks walks us through this remarkable rescue.
Cell phone video captured the frightening scene.
Car 21 to command. We still have a crane operator in the crane between the Bravo and Bravo exposure. He's stuck on the platform trying to get out.
As flames and smoke shot up into the sky, this worker found himself stuck on this crane.
Car 21, we've maintained contact with the crane operator. High heat in the cab, getting pretty thick out there for him to breathe. He's looking for some relief.
Firefighters communicating about the daunting situation he found himself in.
Crane operator is 160 feet above the ground, 160, according to the superintendent.
It would be a tough rescue.
We're evacuating the Bravo division except for ladder 2. It's the only thing between them and the crane operator. There's too much residual heat where these structures sit, but it's the only thing keeping that operator safe.
Fire crews had to put hose lines in place to protect the crane until they were able to get up there to rescue him.
Rescue starting. Got 3 firefighters going up, staging at multiple positions for air for the rescue.
Heroic efforts leading up to this moment.
Our crane operator is down and safe. Rescue 10 is bringing them out to the Charlie side. If we have a medic unit, meet us over there.
According to the fire chief, he was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. I'm Caroline Hicks reporting, WBTV, on your side.
Just heroes. Imagine that. 3 firefighters going up that crane with all the smoke and the fire around them. Incredible. Well, traffic's been a big concern right now for anyone in that area, so let's bring in meteorologist Rachel Coulter. So, Rachel, give us an update on the roads. Are they back open tonight?
They are, and that's
Good.
the biggest update. You know, we've been watching this all day long since this fire began. Several road closures out in the South Park area, and the one that was lingering even through the evening commute, and I know this is a really busy area, that was Fairview Road, right in between Park South Drive and Barclay Downs Drive. Here's the good news. That's back open. So zooming out a little bit more, I'm going to put those road conditions on there. What we're seeing in terms of the traffic, seeing a lot more green than what we had earlier. Seeing a lot of reds and oranges before. Still seeing a few moderate slowdowns, maybe some onlooker delays as you travel, especially in those westbound lanes on Fairview Drive. This is pretty close to the South Park Mall, of course, but at this point, traffic is much improved. And of course, the big update, especially tonight at 7:08, is that Fairview Drive is back open. Jamie?
That is some good news. All right, Rachel, thank you for that. Using our whole First Alert weather team tonight, meteorologist Eric Garlick joins us now. We've been watching the video, Eric, of the smoke that has just been billowing with this fire, especially earlier today. Air quality was a concern. Is it something we need to be worried about?
Well, the good news is we're starting to see the air quality improve, and it's really not an issue anymore. But take a look at the black smoke billowing up from this fire. So obviously air quality was a concern from that fire as it developed developed and continued to grow and spewed ash all over the place. Now, the DEQ issues these air quality alerts. We were up into the moderate category, and this is kind of on a widespread scale. So most of Mecklenburg County was underneath that moderate risk for people that are a little sensitive to air particles being in the atmosphere, and that's one of the things. But, you know, I have to imagine as you got closer to that fire, it was in the very unhealthy category, and you could tell from the people that we were interviewing coughing and, you know, dealing with all of that smoke as it went through. Now, another thing that helped dissipate that was a little bit of rain and some winds gusting 10 to 15, even close to 20 miles an hour in some areas today here in Charlotte. So another thing helping with that air quality. So good news is back into the good category for air quality, but it definitely was an issue as that fire was burning.
No question about it. I know our crews were talking about it while they were down there today. Eric, thank you for that. This fire caused nearby businesses to evacuate. People working in the area tell WBTV it felt like the smoke and flames were getting closer and the fire grew. They were told to go home, but they faced some challenges.
I don't have my purse or my laptop, so I was kind of waiting to see when I'd be able to get that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon.
My car's in the parking garage here, so just kind of waiting to see what they say.
So yeah, several inconveniences. The good news, though, all those people are safe. For now, still dozens of cars stuck in that garage. No timeline on when people will be able to see if their cars are damaged. As we heard earlier, firefighters making sure that those parking structures are structurally sound after all that heat and fire today. A lot of layers to unpack tonight. Coming up at 7:30, our WBTV Investigates team looks into similar construction fires here in North Carolina and across the country. The gift of life, pregnancy and starting a family, is one of the most exciting moments for any couple. A mini version of yourself and your partner full of hope and promise. But the reality is many families experience pain, neglect, and loss during what should be one of the most joyous times of their lives, especially Black families. This week marks Black Maternal Health Week, and it's also a call for action to level the playing field for Black mothers, making sure they have healthy pregnancies. Right now, about 700 women die during childbirth or soon after every year, according to the CDC. But that only tells you part of a sad story. Black women in the U.S. are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white women. 3 times more often. Dealing with the loss of a loved one during childbirth is a pain Charles Johnson knows all too well. In 2016, he lost his wife and mother of his children during what was supposed to be a routine C-section.
The doors to the operating room opened and they closed behind Kira. That was the last time I saw her alive. Every time I share my experience, it's extremely painful. It's literally the worst thing that's ever happened. But my hope is that by telling the story, it will help prevent what happened to our families from happening to other families.
Studies show Black women are often dismissed or ignored in hospitals when they suffer some pregnancy complications. In 2017, the executive board of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecology acknowledged that in its policy statement, saying medicine is beset with implicit and explicit racial bias. The field of obstetrics and gynecology has engaged in practices that were very harmful to women of color. Dr. Ebony Parson is an OBGYN with Novant Health, and we asked her to explain some of this bias.
I think that what we have noticed is that sometimes the care that we are providing to patients varies, and sometimes that variability is based on implicit bias that we're not aware of. And if that happens, then how are we ensuring that the interventions and the care that we're providing is equitable for all women? Again, not always intentional, but can have effects. We also have comorbidities. Black women have a higher rate of obesity and chronic conditions such as hypertension and diabetes, and those things can increase the risk and rate of complications in pregnancy. And then access to care, having early time-sensitive access to care for a pregnant woman is very key and not always a given for these women.
Does diversity in the medical profession itself help in that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that diversity in general, whether that be racial, age-based, cultural, these things are important.
You heard her say it, it's urgent. One pathway to help black women before, during, and after pregnancy is support from a doula. Recent estimates from Rtdnac International show there are around 14,000 registered right here in the U.S. Now, if you're not familiar, a doula is a person who provides emotional and physical support to you during your pregnancy and also your childbirth. They don't deliver babies or provide medical care, but they can step into a role that allows them to advocate for a mother when she is at her most vulnerable. I want to introduce you to Kira Kimball. She's been a certified doula for more than 10 years here in the Charlotte area. Kimball is the founder of the RT Doula Company. Her team works in a variety of settings, including hospitals, birth centers, and private homes. In a sit-down interview, WBTV Siobhan Bryan asked Kimball about her journey to becoming a doula. Take a listen.
So what made you enter this profession?
That's a long story. So I entered this profession after having my own children and really kind of gathering information and being a source for other mothers that were having children after me. So I had amassed a great deal of knowledge and wisdom about childbirth, child rearing, and so I wanted to make sure that I was assisting clients and assisting potential clients on how they can also have empowering births.
Yeah, everyone needs support, and not going through this alone and having extra support is so important. Maricia Owens is a registered nurse and one of Kimball's clients, and right now she's 33 weeks pregnant with her second child. She says during her first pregnancy, she had everything she needed for the baby, but missed the opportunity for self-care.
I decided to go with a doula because I knew that my second time around giving birth, I wanted that extra support. I don't live near family. All of my family is back in Texas. Now, even though I haven't delivered, has helped me a lot, even in the prenatal term, just because she's like a wealth of information. She's able to give me insight into different stretches to help me prepare for labor, different breathing techniques just to help me relax on a day-to-day. And then also just someone that I can go to just to kind of unload, because again, being so far away from family, I don't have that same resource and the same availability of those people. So,
of course, doulas can't fix everything, and really they shouldn't have to if you think about it. Lasting change to healthcare disparities start with holding medical institutions accountable and giving black and brown mothers accessible resources. Congresswoman Alma Adams represents the northern and eastern parts of Charlotte. She has really been an advocate on Capitol Hill to address this maternal health crisis. In 2020, she spearheaded the Black Maternal Health Momnibus Act. It's made up of 9 individual bills fighting for things like 12-month postpartum Medicaid coverage, investments in rural mental health, or maternal health, I should say, and the implementation of implicit biased trainings. Last night, Adams attended an event at Johnson C. Smith University. Important conversation here. She co-hosted it with the nonprofit organization Care Ring. It provides health services for the uninsured, underinsured, or those lacking access to affordable health care here in Mecklenburg County. City leaders and healthcare providers like Atrium joined Care Ring and Congresswoman Adams to learn more about improving the experiences of black pregnant women.
And no mommy, no auntie, no sister, no baby should die.
The harsh truth is they are. Maternal mortality rates in the U.S. are significantly higher than other developed countries, and the stakes for black pregnant women are high.
Doesn't matter how great your insurance is. I mean, when you think about Serena Williams and Beyonce, they too were victims in terms of what we say birthing while black. And so that tells you right there that we have a lot to do.
More needs to be done. That's the message of the award-winning documentary Aftershock. It was screened for Mecklenburg County leaders and healthcare providers at Thursday's event, amplifying the unique stories of black and brown women.
Manager, I'm really pleased to see you all here tonight.
Mecklenburg County Manager Dina Diorio was in attendance for Thursday's event. She talked about the steps our county is taking to meeting the challenges in our community.
Mecklenburg County cares very much about the disparities in maternal health. We currently have 8 core programs designed to address issues around maternal child health.
The conversation doesn't stop here. You can be part of meaningful change to improve black maternal health outcomes.